Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Art Nouveau. I'm trying to make sure I say it the right way because a lot of people put in the comments in the other video. Hopefully we focus so you can see how things look. All right, it's by Matt Myers. It's circa 1989, so I don't know if you can still find stuff by this artist, but if you like the cards and you want to look it up, that's the information. Supportive Oracle cards are Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's Gretchen's last name. That way, if you'd like to find these artists, you can find that stuff. Just freeze the video, look up their names and stuff, and you can find more stuff by them. I want to say that Tori has done other things. I don't know about Gretchen. And I don't know about Matt. I just flat out don't know. What do we have for Scorpio? Yeah. Well, this is interesting because Scorpio, I just tend to think that Scorpio makes out. Like, they just kind of look at something for what it is, and they're just kind of like, you know what? I'm not going to let it beat me up. I'm going to move on. I just seem to think Scorpio does that. I could be wrong. Like, when you're actively moving through a situation, it doesn't bother you. It's when you sit back and let your mind kind of play with it. I feel like that's when situations get really rough. You can tell me if I'm wrong, obviously. But let me know in the comments, because that's how I understand Scorpio. It's kind of like when you're actively moving, you seem to do really well. It's when you sit back and just let thoughts kind of soak in. That's when things can drive you cuckoo and just really drive you nuts and get you really ticked off. So be careful. Keep in motion with this one is what I'm getting, at least. Let me know in the comments what you feel about that, because I'm always liking to learn more about Scorpio. It's a very dynamic, powerful energy, but it seems like when you're in motion, everything is cool, great, awesome. It's when you sit back and you really think about some of the things that happen that it can get a little rough. And this is one of those situations, like, don't sit back and let it ponder. Don't ponder on it too much, because you'll notice things that you maybe won't help you. That won't help you. Insecurity with, what's the other one? Destiny. Now, okay, so the person you're dealing with, I've done the other two water signs, Pisces and Cancer, and they had somebody trying to manipulate them and playing with them. This person you're coming up against wouldn't dare, is what I'm getting. They're just kind of like, not even going to try to play the Scorpio, because the Scorpio will get me. Scorpios have tails. Like, Scorpions have those tails. Like, anybody with a little bit of sense realize you don't really want to mess with a Scorpio. You're going to be regretting it, so just back off if you have any sense about you. And I feel like this person at least has that sense. I'm not going to mess with the Scorpio because they will get me with that tail and it's going to hurt. But at the same time, you having to deal with this person, you do not want to deal with them. And you also do not trust them at all. Even though they may not be coming at you trying to mess with you this time, you can see where they might. And you don't really care for this person. I'm getting insecurity with destiny is kind of like, if you didn't have to deal with this person, you wouldn't. But for some reason, you feel like you gotta. Going forward, you got gossip with creation in the environment. This person, like, this is the person we're talking about that you really don't like dealing with, but they seem to be around either a work situation, or maybe they're connected to family in some situation. Maybe it's like there's a group of friends and it's just one of the people who just kind of, they're a part of this group that you don't really care for, but they're a part of the group, so it's just how it is. They got gossip here with the creation. Is it creation or creative? Creation. I'm noticing the smoke here a lot too. Like, there's a little bit of ridiculousness going on. Smoke and mirrors, gossip, rumors, smoke and mirrors, a lot of smoke and mirrors. They're trying to make something happen, and they're trying to get other people to do the legwork. They're trying to get other people to do things for them. Like, they're creating some type of situation. When this is happening, there's a lot going on. And I don't think you really want to be a part of it. King of Cups, Two of Pentacles, Priest, which is kind of like the High Priest. There's the priest and the priestess in this deck. I kind of add that high energy because, you know, they're usually high priest and high, whatever. Usually the Hierophant actually and the high priest, I think. Anyway, moving on. Trying to work with this. You're working with this situation you don't want to because you feel this person. You're like, you don't trust them. You don't really care for them, but they're a part of the group. They may not be coming at you trying to manipulate you, but you see them doing it to other people. And you're trying to point out things, but at the same time, these people believe what they want to believe, and you totally get that. And you're just kind of like, you know what, all right, believe what you want to believe, but I would be careful. And you're trying to pull back a little bit. You see how this goes. You know how this, like, every now and then you start pointing things out, and people are like, well, you just don't like that person. You need to give that person a chance, blah, 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 blah. Fine, you do what you got to do. You see it, though. You see the writing on the wall. You're like, all right, I'm just going to step back. I'm just going to step out of this situation. Things are going forward. People are having a lot of fun. Decisions are being made. You have the decision to either be a part of it or not. And I'm getting like you're trying to get along with this situation. You got the facade on your side. Almost like you want to make yourself believe that it can be fine. I can be a part of this. It doesn't have to be that bad. Meanwhile, that deeper knowing deep in your soul is going, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't be a part of this, don't be a part of this. And it's like, even though you're trying to convince yourself mentally, let's do it, let's just not make it a problem, deep down you're like, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. But at this point, nothing's bad. It's just kind of like, you know, there's a bit of tomfoolery there. You know, there's a bit of ridiculousness. Something isn't right. Something isn't hitting correctly. You just have that, you know, the water signs. We tend to be like, you just, when something isn't quite on point, you just tend to feel like something's just not quite right. So you have that inkling. You're like, that deeper part in your soul is saying, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So do you do it? You do. Okay, you do. You got abundance with the death card, which intuitively I'm feeling like you're going to be a part of this situation. But you have other people you're invested with here. It's not just you. It's kind of like, I almost feel like you're talking yourself into this because there's other people you're connected to. And you're like, well, I want to make sure this works out for me and for them. And they're trusting somebody I don't think they should trust. And they matter to me, so I want to stay close enough so I can be like, hey, let's see this for the truth. Let's not just let this happen. I told you this was a bad idea. Now you can see the proof here. So I feel like you're convincing yourself to be a part of this. It's a general read. So some of you, I feel like some of you have to get out, but I'm not feeling it. I don't know. I'm feeling like you're convincing yourself to be a part of it. When it keeps going forward, it starts a whole new phase here with the Death card and the Abundance. It starts off really good. It's got a good start. The Death card is telling me that it's a whole new phase. Like, things are, whatever's being started here, it's almost like planning a trip for next fall or something. And the Death card is kind of like, this is something that this group has never done before. Or it's something like going into a situation that's new to everybody. That's what this is telling me, the Death card. And the farther it goes in, that's when the truth starts to come forward. That person that you don't really care for, this gossipy energy, this gossipy creative energy, they always had in the back of their mind what they really wanted. They already had an idea about what they wanted to create with this situation and what they wanted to come forward, and they snaked people in. They got people to get involved. They got them halfway down the road, and they said, hey, you know how I said we were going to California? Well, we're actually going to go to Michigan. So a little bit of a detour. We're still traveling, though. We're still going somewhere new. Yay! Now, nothing against Michigan. I'm up in New York. But this is the difference. Like, when I think of going to California, sunshine, nice, better weather, I'm thinking, people will also say, I also think earthquakes. Well, you got me there. But, like, when I think of Michigan, I think of New York. And at certain times of the year, it's pretty cold. And that's what I'm connecting to. It's kind of like, instead of going to that beautiful sunny beach, you're going to the cold, wintry place, which some people like, but that's the difference. Like, and I feel like this is somebody who likes the cold. They're like, I like the snow, I like to ski, I like to do all that stuff, the snowmobiling, all that other good stuff. Meanwhile, the majority of the people that were getting involved, they like the beach, they like the heat, They like to swim in the ocean. That's what they were getting involved with. The change is coming in, and I feel like you knew it was going to happen, but by the time you get this far, you can't really change the direction, and you're feeling like a victim. Because somebody's changing the direction. They're like, oh, we're still traveling. We're just going a different road. And you're like, yeah, with a totally different destination. Like, this is completely different. You don't like this moment. Because I feel like it's out of your hands to stop it from happening. It's so far down the road. Like, it's almost like, you're halfway there, but you didn't realize, like, instead of going halfway to the west, you went halfway to the north. Like, I don't know how. Like, instead of going that way, you went that way. And you're halfway there and realizing, oh my God, we've already gone this far. I knew something wasn't right. I didn't check things I should have checked. Or you're kind of like, why didn't I check? Why didn't I double guess that? You're not the only one who's not happy about this. I feel like when this comes forward, you're not happy. And the thing is, I feel like this is a good part of you being a part of this. It's a good piece of you being a part of this. There we go. You're not happy and you're very vocal about it. And other people are not very happy and very vocal about it. We may be halfway to Michigan, but guess what? We're turning this around and we're going to start going to California. We may be behind, very behind schedule at this point, but we're still going to California because I'm going to enjoy that beach. I'm not going to Michigan. I don't want to. Again, nothing against Michigan, but I'm thinking like for people who like the colder climates and the mountains. I think there's mountains I know you have the Great Lake. I think there's 2 Great Lakes, I want to say, up that way. The geography is just not clicking in. But, nothing against Michigan, but I'm like, for example, if you're in Michigan and you're going to go, if you're already in Michigan, would you come to upstate New York or would you want to go to California for a different type of climate? That's all I'm saying. So I just don't want to be down by it. Like, I think Michigan's fine. Nothing wrong with Michigan. I don't know why. I feel like I'm beating up on Michigan all of a sudden. It must be connected to something. Isolation with complacency. This person, their plans are going to get foiled. Not you by yourself, but you with a couple other people are going to foil their plans. They got isolation with the complacency. They can't seem to stop you guys from changing the direction and making it go where it was originally said it was going to go. You said we're originally going to go here. Guess what? We're not going to change direction. We're going to go back to that original plan. And you and a couple other people are making them stick to that. Wisdom with perseverance comes in on your side. With the Wheel of Fortune, things go better, right? Things work out, but there are some leftover problems. Perseverance and the wisdom is like, you made it work out, you worked with others, things turned out good in the end. When this situation got to where it was supposed to get to, it worked out, it went to where it was supposed to. But the Wheel of Fortune is coming forward saying, you know what, there's a new factor coming in here. And I'm getting like, the Wheel of Fortune is saying this is not over. Be careful. Even when you hit the destination and you think the situation's over, the Wheel of Fortune is telling me it is not over. Even though you feel like, all right, goal attained, good, done, moving on. The Wheel is saying it's not over. It's not over. Something is going to linger on afterwards. This person is going to come forward and keep trying to make problems. It's almost like they have a vendetta. Keep that in mind. This person has some like little vendetta where they feel like they were cheated out of what they wanted and now they feel like they need to make it right. That's not quite on point, but that's how they feel. That's the Page of Staves where they keep coming forward. They keep coming forward. It seems very random, but they almost feel like they have a vendetta about this. I feel like you're trying to like look the other way about it, but I'm getting like sooner or later you're going to have to deal with this person face to face and you're going to have to talk this out. You're going to have to like put this to rest. The Four of Cups is kind of like you're really unhappy with this person and you're trying to not make an issue. You got the Six of Swords with the Four of Cups is telling me there's problems between you and this person. Think something's being avoided, something's not being talked about. The Wheel of Fortune is telling me more problems are going to come forward with this person. The only way to stop this from continually coming back and coming back and coming back is to directly deal with it. And I almost feel like that's what this whole reading is about. Because you're trying to get along, you're trying to not make issues. It's almost like other people are accusing you of making issues. I'm getting whatever's going on, whatever the problem is, this person keeps coming around and keep making issues and they keep making issues. this needs to be dealt with. This needs to be like nipped in. It's too late to nip it in the bud, quite frankly. But this needs to be like this person. You have to go directly towards this person and just bring forward that dirty laundry and put it right out there. Whatever it is you don't like about them, or whatever it is that you are not happy with in the past, or whatever reason, or whatever you're seeing that you don't like, you need to have a point blank conversation with this person. Just actively have it. Don't worry about it. Just let it happen. Just bring forth the truth and what you see and what you think of them. That might be rough. I'm getting that's the only way it's going to quell this energy. It's going to keep coming back and keep being a problem and keep being a problem. Because I feel like after this situation, they keep trying to, they blame you for cheating them out of something. I mean, you didn't, that's not what happened, but that's how they view it. The only way to shut it down is to go directly towards it and talk about what you're seeing and talk about what you think about them, which I know could be very harsh. It's the only way it's going to stop this energy. The longer you avoid it, the longer it drags on. Really. Okay, that's what we got. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.